This new Grand Prix first began as a concept car. You could see this concept car for the first time at the 2002 Chicago Auto Show on February 7th, 2002. This car was called the Grand Prix G-Force Concept. You can see that it pretty much looks like the production model. But yeah, it was a concept and it previewed pretty much exactly how the real thing was going to look. The actual production version was unveiled at the Los Angeles International Auto Show in January 2003, and it really wasn't all that different from the concept of the previous year, which was a great thing. Everybody liked the way the G-Force concept looked and thought it was a good direction for the Grand Prix. This new 2004 Grand Prix used a revised version of the W-body platform. The Grand Prix first used the W-body platform in 1988. When it switched from the G-body's rear-wheel drive platform to the new front drive platform. The 1997 redesign once again continued using a second generation version of the General Motors W-body platform. Then of course for 2004, this had become the third generation of that platform. So the Grand Prix came in 4 different option groups: GT1, GT2, GTP, and GTP Comp G. Now, I know that's kind of a strange name, but it stood for Competition Group. One good thing about these cars is that they were still using the 3800 engine. Now, some might disagree, but in my opinion, this is one of the best engines General Motors has ever produced. The GT1 and GT2 used the Series 3 3800 V6 engine. This version was good for 200 horsepower and 230 pound-feet of torque. Now, for those of you paying attention, you recall me saying that there was a GTP and a GTP competition group. Well, both of those had the supercharged 3800 Series 3 V6, and they were cranking out 260 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. A 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix GT2 Special Edition was also offered, but this particular model was in a very limited supply. This newly redesigned model got mostly positive reviews from critics regarding its styling, performance, and reliability. Also, I would like to point out that this generation was sedan only, but that was okay because the sedan did look good. 2002 was the last year for the coupe, so even by 2003 you could only get the Grand Prix as a sedan. But anyway, General Motors was bringing the Australian Holden Monaro over to the United States as the new Pontiac GTO. So rather than offering you a redesigned Grand Prix coupe, they'd rather you just get the new GTO instead, which was actually better. You know, the GTO was nothing but an Australian car, but at least it was rear-wheel drive, had a big V8, and was more of a proper muscle car. But anyway, Pontiac did have something in store for those who wanted more power in their Grand Prix, or simply found the GTO too impractical. Enter the Grand Prix GXP. When the GXP came out later in the 2005 model year, the competition group was dropped. So by 2005, there was the GT, GTP, and the new GXP. The GT still had the naturally aspirated 3800, and the GTP still had the supercharged 3800. But the new GXP was powered by a 5.3-liter LS4 V8. This engine was based on the LS1 engine, and it cranked out 303 horsepower and 323 pound-feet of torque. It used a shortened crankshaft and a host of other modifications, allowing it to fit the front-wheel drive platform. The GXP also used a 4-speed automatic transmission, and it had a lot of upgrades too. Cosmetically, the GXP differed from the other models with revised bodywork, including a more aggressive front end, cooling vents on the front fenders, a different rear bumper, and twin dual polished exhaust. By 2006, the 3 options were the Grand Prix, powered by the 3800, the GT, which was now powered by the supercharged 3800, and the GXP, of course still powered by the LS4 V8. The GTP designation was dropped, and it was applied as the top trim of the G6. For the 2007 model year, the lineup remained the base, GT, and GXP. Also, the displacement on demand system, which was found on the 5.3 V8, was renamed Active Fuel Management. 2008 was the last year of the Pontiac Grand Prix. For 2008, Pontiac did not offer the GT, but continued to offer the base model and the GXP. So the Grand Prix was gone and the Bonneville was gone too. The Bonneville's last year was 2005, but Pontiac had a solution to all of this. Rather than buying a Bonneville or a Grand Prix, Pontiac rather you get your hands on the new G8 sedan. Kinda like the GTO that I mentioned earlier, this new G8 was also from Australia, based on the Holden Commodore. Matter of fact, when they were in the process of getting this car over to America, they were considering naming this car the Grand Prix, but Pontiac decided to go with the alphanumeric naming strategy for all of their cars. The G8 was a full-size rear-wheel drive sedan, and you could get a ridiculous 415 horsepower, and when I say ridiculous, I do mean that in a good way. Sure, it was nothing but a rebadged Holden, but it was a good start. After all, Pontiac was supposed to be all about excitement, and this car definitely brought the excitement. It went on sale in early 2008 for the 2008 model year, so technically, while the Grand Prix was still on dealer lots, you could also get the new G8, but this car did not stick around very long. Production stopped in the middle of 2009, following General Motors' decision to suspend the Pontiac brand. I've always been a fan of the Grand Prix, whether that's the G body or the W body. I like the design of the latest generation, but overall I think the 1997 generation has aged better. It still looks great today as a sleek and sporty sedan, especially the coupe. Those look great too. If General Motors ever decide to bring back Pontiac, they should relaunch the brand with a brand new Grand Prix. I say give this sedan a minimum of 400 horsepower, and if you think you need more power, then there could be higher performance editions to satisfy your power cravings. The same kind of people that bought a Kia Stinger or a Charger will fall into the same category of those who would be interested in a new Grand Prix. Alright, so that's it for this one. I'll catch you guys on the next video.